Well, hello there all you absolutely magnificent people, and welcome back to another episode of An Ecologist Plays, where we talk about nature while playing games. My name is Will, and as you can see, we are back in Empires of the Undergrowth. We are going to continue as the Formica Ereptor ants that have escaped into the world outside. So, let's jump right in, shall we? Now, if at some point you do hear some baby sounds in the background, that is because our son is chilling with me at the moment. As I'm recording this, Nick is currently taking a nap, and so yeah, Wilson is here with me and just kind of chilling and watching me play a bit of Empires of the Undergrowth. So let's jump right in, shall we? We're going to go to Remix, of course, and today it is time to do the Rising Tide mission. Of course, we are going to be playing it on hard difficulty, and we are going to be playing it as the Gene Thief ants. Of course, as before, we are only going to play as ants we have encountered. And thus far, well, we've only encountered, of course, ourselves, the Formica Ereptor ants, and then we have encountered the Slave Maker ants, and that's it. Those are the only ones we actually have encountered thus far. So, these are the ones we can play as. Of course, I'm just going to, buff myself slightly, because, well, these are the Formica Ereptor ants, of course, and, well, they are not to be trifled with. So, let us then jump right in, shall we? And here we go, starting our new colony.
This Formica rufa wood ant queen has laid her first brood in a burrow near the sea. Her nest is just on the outskirts of the beach, the perfect vantage point for scavenging hapless morsels washed in by the tide. At the moment, the tide is out, but it won't stay that way. The ants must make haste and stockpile what they can, while they can.
So it is a vulnerable time, of course, but look here, look here what we've got here. So we are the Formica Ereptor ants, right? But normally we would be playing as the Formica rufa ants, the wood ants, and well, what we have over here is one of the queens of the Formica fuscas, so one of the black ant queens. And this colony was initially a fusca colony until it got taken over by the, well, normally rufas in the main campaign, but in this case taken over by our Formica Ereptor ants over here. So our little Ereptors here are most likely what we call a temporary parasite. In other words, they kind of took over the nest of the Formica fuscas that were here before, and they replaced them as the new inhabitants of this colony. Absolutely marvelous to actually see that in the game, because, well, that can happen in real life. The Formica rufas, or in this case the Formica Ereptors, are known to be temporary parasites. And well, now we've got some workers at least to go to the outside world and quickly go and start foraging, because, well, it is a race against the clock here. We have
there is
3
food
nights
to be found all over the beach.
Yes.
But the wood ants must be cautious and choose their trails carefully.
Indeed.
Tiger beetles frequent the higher ground, and they will make quick work of any wood ant that strays too close.
Tiger ants really do love running around the shores, right up here away from the actual water. Not really right here by the water, but usually a little bit further up where the drier sand is. That is normally where you would find them.
There are other wood ants out here. They have also come to take advantage of the buffet provided by the sea. Territorial disputes will invariably favor the colony with the greater numbers.
Yeah, so normally this is actually intra-specific competition here between our wood ants and their wood ants. But while we don't have wood ants, we've got the Formica Ereptors here. We've got the Gene Thief ants. So this is now technically inter-specific competition here. Now, we are not bothering with them. We are literally just running around grabbing as much food as we possibly can, as quickly as we can, so that we can actually, that's a lot of can all the way, so that we can actually survive the 3 nights we need to survive. Of course, after this mission, we would actually be able to make some wood ants, thankfully, because, well, we are going to be needing them for the mission after this one, for Queen of the Hill. Yeah, we are definitely going to need the wood ants with a nice rapid fire there. But we are typical pioneers here. We are able to survive as pioneer ants. We are very, very, very similar to, well, an ant we know in South Africa as the pugnacious ants. We call them rooimiere because that means red ants, and, well, they are red and they are, well, they scurry all over the place, very, very aggressive, which we also are as the Formica Ereptors. We also have the ability to make a lot of young very quickly, very similar to the pugnacious ants and what they would do as well. And we are going to try and simulate being them as best we can. Now, those pugnacious ants, you may also be familiar with a relative of theirs, the Anapolepus gracilepes, which is the yellow crazy ant, which is a species that is unfortunately taking over places like the Christmas Island and a whole bunch of other islands and other places around the world. So those yellow crazy ants, well, they're in the same genus as the ants we call pugnacious ants in South Africa. And we need to start getting ready though, because, well, nighttime is going to start arriving soon. And actually, the tide is going to
The tide
rise
is
as
coming
well.
in. Soon the lower levels of the beach will be flooded. Any ants caught in the surge will be washed out to sea.
Run, little ones, run! And yeah, you made it just in time, okay. And now we are really just scurrying along here, past all the wood ants that are trying to defend their food here. They're trying to do interference competition, we're trying to do scramble competition, where it's a first come, first serve basis. We're trying to outnumber them, that's the idea here. Oh, we are... Yeah, indeed, almost.
Of the nest are about to be completely flooded.
So as they were trying to defend it, we just grabbed as much as we could. Now that normally is something we see if food resources are either very unpredictable or if there really isn't a lot of food available. Then ants tend to rather focus on grabbing as much food as possible, as quickly as possible, rather than trying to defend it, and rather than trying to take out other ants to get control of the food.
The tide is in, and soon night will fall.
It's
As
nighttime,
the temperature
oh
drops
dear.
outside, nocturnal creatures begin to awaken. It would be wise for the rufa colony to stay underground, and hope that their nest remains hidden until the morning.
Indeed, so now, difficult times ahead, we are going to have to just quickly grab some more food down below here, so that we can actually get a bigger army, because, well, nighttime is not going to be easy. I already had to restart.
Overground, nocturnal hermit crabs rule over the sands at night. These creatures are typically scavengers, searching for algae and carrion on the beach. But due to the unusual incursion of Formica rufa colonies into this area, this particular community of crabs has developed a taste for ant flesh.
Of course, it is possible for species like the hermit crabs to really start developing a preference for certain food types, in this case ants, because of an abundance of them, where previously there wasn't a lot.
Into the nest.
Oh,
The ants must mount a swift and decisive defense.
Here we come. Luckily, we have got a lot of ants that can try to defend the nest here, the colony. The problem is the regeneration by the hermit crab. Now, hermit crabs, they don't make these shells themselves. Instead, they pick up shells of gastropods, snails, and then they just move into those. Empty snails, of course. Empty snail shells, of course. They just move into that, and then as they grow, the shell doesn't grow with them. So they do need to actually pick up bigger shells as they go along, as time progresses. But the hermit crabs will do what we saw the hermit crab they do when they feel threatened. They will retreat into their shell. That is, of course, why they are doing it, why they have got those shells. The body armor itself is not really strong enough to withstand too many blows, so they do need some extra protection. They're surprisingly squishy, if I can put it that way. Of course, the whole time here you can see the Formica fusca ants we are digging up and the eggs here. That this just indicates again that this was a Formica fusca nest that got taken over by, in this case, the Formica Ereptors. Okay, I do suspect there is another... Yeah, there we go. 2 hermit crabs. Oh no. Okay, we need to get rid of these ones before more arrive in here, because if there are too many, they will overwhelm us. Because our defenders here are split between a bunch of different hermit crabs here. Now this one, as soon as it feels too threatened, it will retreat into its shell. In that case, it will regenerate health. Let's see. Oh, no, actually, it's going to die. It's going to die. There we go. It is dead. Now, everyone can focus on the one there. So, of course, yeah, hermit crabs, they do retreat into the shell when they feel threatened. In this case, they didn't help them at all. Great stuff. I do believe there are some more hermit crabs. Yeah, indeed, 3 of them coming this way. However, we are ready for them. Alright, now, where were we? Oh, yes, we were under attack. Sorry, guys, that was just a quick nappy change, and now we are back here. Alright. Thankfully, we've got a whole bunch of food stored away, so we should be able to make this no problem. The 2 dead already, and then this should be the last one, just... And voila, it is dead as well. Great stuff. And this should be probably Devil's Coach beetles. There we go, indeed. And even more food. Marvelous.
The tide is receding, and a new day dawns. The hunters of the night return to the safety of the shadows,
Aha.
and the ants can begin to lay down new trails.
Perfect.
The harvest must go on. A dead sardine has been washed up on the beach. This feast is too precious to pass up, but the smell will soon attract other scavengers. The ants will need to amass in great numbers to defend such a prize.
Interesting mentioning defending this prize. That is typical interference competition, where you have resources like this food resource over here, and you are actively attacking anything trying to get to it. So you are defending it, you are excluding other species, other individuals of the same species. You are trying to keep the resource for yourself. What we, however, are doing with our nice marching column over here, we are doing scramble competition, scrambling for it. Oh, I never noticed there's a sea urchin over here as well. And sea urchins normally would of course be protected by spines, and they would also have their tube feet extending from all over here, allowing them to actually walk across the rocks or under the rocks. But in this case, this one is dead, leaving only its skeleton behind. Now for this mission, I'm not actually putting them in different groups. I just have one horde of ants that are moving as a semi-cohesive unit to get from point A to point B. Doesn't matter if they take a long time to react. We're not working here with quick reaction times. We are just causing chaos. Okay, we have cleared the entire lower beach. Now we're going to get ready to actually go and take on the tiger beetles that are around this sardine over here. And maybe we can actually harvest the sardine completely as well. And finally, we are also going to take our slave maker ants over here, our Formica sanguinea, and we are actually leveling them up to tier 3 as well. Now, one of the things that makes us a great pioneer species of ant here, the Formica Ereptors here, is the fact that we can eat almost anything we can find. Yes, we can farm aphids, and we will do that in the next mission. Yes, we can feed on seeds. Yes, we can feed on little crustaceans. Yes, we can feed on a massive sardine that has washed up on the shore. No matter what food resource is in the area, we can eat it. Alright, and the tide is rising again as well. So of course, along with being able to eat anything we can get, we also have the ability to reproduce very, very quickly, allowing us to establish in an area very, very quickly, which is really a great survival strategy. Now we are going to take, I think, we're going to take all of it. Indeed, there goes these. Oh no, I thought we were going to take everything up one shot. That's alright, you know what? We are also going to take all the food we can up here. Otherwise, you know what? No, stuff it. We are going to actually just gather up here and cause a bit of chaos up on the middle beach up here. Oh, and there we go. There is a nice big Chindula, the tiger beetle. It did not, however, come for us, but the small one will. The small one is, of course, going to just die and become food for us. Oh, there we go. There's a big one now, finally. Okay, tide is going to rise, but we are going to be fine up here.
Is rising quickly.
For now.
Must head for higher ground.
And there's the Chindula is dead.
The huge tiger beetle has been defeated. There are many more of them, but this is a milestone moment for the colony. They cannot be bullied by sheer size alone.
Indeed. We cannot be bullied. Full stop. Now, another thing we cannot be bullied by are the other ants, because, well, look at our little marching column making its way up here. And look at these beautiful tier 3 Formica sanguinea, the slave maker ants.
The tide has almost reached its highest point. The sands east of the nest are about
Okay, we need to start retreating back. We had gotten almost all the food. That is absolutely marvelous. And all of us actually made it to the top. Brilliant. Okay, let's take out these two Chichindilas as well, these two tiger beetles. And normally, of course, ferocious predators, really a match for any of us. Very fast, great eyesight.
There's another creature roaming the sands tonight. Arctosa parita, the sand bear wolf spider. In the day, these spiders retreat to the shade provided by larger plants on the edge of the beach. But once the sun has gone, they are far more active and on the hunt for a midnight feast.
A little bit more nocturnal, the wolf spiders. Okay, so we will need to keep a lookout for them as well. Oh, there's a massive hermit crab up there. There's the wolf spider right over there.
A wolf spider has found the nest entrance. She is only small, but her venom will quickly incapacitate any ant that tries to fight alone.
There we go. So safety in numbers, in essence, yeah? As is so often the case. And she's dead. Okay, great. And of course, we are taking on things outside the nest. Why are we doing this? We should not be doing this. We should be taking them out as they come into the nest, not try to take them out over here. And all the while, we just have more hermit crabs coming into the nest. But they're no match for this wonderful, wonderful Formica Ereptor colony over here. Yeah, wolf spiders, they are venomous. Not enough venom to affect us as humans, but if you are a little invertebrate like these little ants here, well, the wolf spider will be a match for you. It will take out a few of you. However, not able to take out all of you if you come in as a swarm like we are doing over here. I absolutely love wolf spiders. We have a few of them in our garden as well, or quite a few of them in the garden. Very often we will see them scurrying around, especially under leaf litter. If you want to have more wolf spiders in your yard, make sure that you've got some leaf litter lying around. Don't rake up all the leaves and take it away. Leave some in the yard, especially under shrubs and wooden planks and stuff like that. They love going under that. Always quite fun for me, at least, to go and spot them. And finally the big hermit crab has fallen. And now that it has fallen, we can actually really see its actual body. There we go. Of course, we can see the front pair of legs here modified into pincers to break up food particles or catch food particles as well. Really useful defense mechanism as well. Depends, you know, of what you are and what you are trying to defend against. But for these little guys, they will be able to defend themselves a little bit against some smaller predators. But a big fish, for example, trying to get to them, not a great defense. That's why they have these shells to actually be able to retreat into. And many of them will actually block off the entrance there with their pincers. Because usually marine gastropods, like these sea snails that had these shells, they actually block off the entrance to their shell with a lid, which we call the operculum. And that prevents predators getting access to the snail, also prevents dehydration and stuff like that. But these guys, these hermit crabs, don't have an operculum. Instead, they will very often block off that entrance with one of their pincers over there. Usually a larger one, like this one over here. Looks like it has. It does have a slightly larger left pincer than a right pincer. This left pincer here, this will actually be the one that it blocks the entrance with. The other one is better at handling food particles or finer food particles. The big one over here on the left hand side, that will be its defense mechanism or its main defense mechanism, and very important to block off the entrance to prevent predators from getting access to it hiding in its shell. Alright. Nonetheless, didn't help at all.
Spiders have found the nest.
Oh, okay, they're going into the nest now. Now we really should be fine. I mean, we've got a whole bunch of ants already coming to the fore here. Oh, these guys are still holding out. Not sure what they're holding out. Maybe a hero, maybe not, but they're holding out for something. And there we go. Day breaks once more as the tiger beetles arrive. I guess this means we should get ready because, well, the final evening is coming. And now that we've got our army here, the strength in numbers in essence, things like the tiger beetle are just minor inconveniences. And again, interference competition, the whole horde just kind of moving forth, destroying all the wood ants in our path, just so that we can get access to the resources here and take it as our own. And now we really have nothing left to fear. And this is very similar to how An Ecologist also works, the pugnacious ants. Once they reach a certain size, the colony at least, they have nothing to fear. Nothing can get rid of them. They will very quickly spread to new areas and just dominate the landscape. Well, nothing in the undergrowth can actually destroy them. There is one thing, however, that keeps even those big, pugnacious ants in check. And that will be a massive thing, compared to them at least, a massive carnivore known as the aardvark. And well, I would love to see an aardvark. I have never seen them. They are the strangest looking things, and very few living relatives whatsoever. I think elephants, as far as I recall, are the closest living relatives of them. And like, they look nothing like elephants whatsoever. But they will be moving through the landscape where the pugnacious ants are, and they will be keeping their numbers in check. Not like intentionally, but by moving through the landscape and digging into ant and termite nests and just overall disrupting the ants and killing a whole bunch of them in the process, they do allow other ants to actually still survive despite the presence of highly aggressive ants. Now, we don't have this in the game, so this means that our colony here is really going to be a very dominant species. And when you have something like this dominant species over here, like our Formica Ereptor ants here, moving into an area, if there are no other ant species present, they very often will exclude those other species from the area, preventing them from actually gaining a foothold. And yeah, that is something we in island biogeography call the priority effect, which is when two or more species have a similar niche or role in the environment, whichever one actually establishes first and is potentially also more aggressive, they will be the ones that survive. The others will not be able to establish in that area. So yeah, that's the priority effect. I'm sure we will talk about that at some point in the future of the channel, when we actually talk about island biogeography and things like the priority effect.
As the temperature drops outside, nocturnal creatures begin to awaken. It would be wise for the rufa colony to stay underground and hope that their nest remains hidden until the morning.
The thing is, now we've got those wolf spiders coming in, amongst other things the female with the babies, and that is a different beast altogether. But luckily we've got a whole bunch of ants to protect us against the intruders. There we go, immediately coming into the nest. So these are just normal ones, they're not the mother with the babies. That one is still coming. I absolutely love wolf spiders. Very, very characteristic eyes as well, eye patterns. So, of course, if you've played Grounded or have seen videos of Grounded, this is a face that is very, very familiar to you. Very good eyesight, these guys. As far as I know, the third best eyesight of all spiders, after jumping spiders and the ogre-faced spiders or the net-casting spiders. But you can see the two big eyes in front here, and then two smaller eyes at the back there, and four little eyes in front as well. These big eyes here, those are the main ones they use for seeing. The ones on top, yeah, they can give the wolf spider some peripheral vision as well, but very, very good depth perception, which they need, because these are not ambush predators. They don't use webs. Instead, they're active hunters. They're running around hunting down their prey. And that, of course, means that they need to be able to see the prey very well, and then you, of course, need to grab onto the prey very accurately, and that's where the great eyesight comes in. Oh man, I love these little guys. Absolutely marvelous. Look there, it's actually cleaning its limbs, moving the leg through the mouth parts there. There we go, we can see it doing that. Oh, that's so cool. You know, it's the small things. It's the small things that make it all just extra awesome. And there we go, a whole horde of hermit crabs coming in. We're just going to, there we go, let them come to the central area here so we can actually surround them. And I suspect they're going to stand no chance. I mean, this one is basically dead, and it is dead. And another one, and another one. And the last one. There we go, there's the mother with, oh wow, those are lots of babies. Look at all those baby wolf spiders.
A huge wolf spider has found the colony. This one is a mother, and her recently hatched brood have followed
and well,
her
the mother is
nest.
going to be dead.
These ants are facing an overwhelming infestation.
Well, I think that was it. So that does remind me very much of what happened once at our house, where we had a wolf spider walking along in our house with a whole bunch of babies stuck on the abdomen, because while they carry their babies on their back as they're walking through there, all the babies are clinging to the back of the mother. And well, Cinnamon, our one cat, they decided to give that mother spider a bit of a whack, and we had about 100 babies running all over our floor, which was something to see, but not a marvelous sight to behold. But now our Formica Ereptors really have a nice foothold on the beach here, so we are just going to carry on destroying a whole bunch of stuff on the beach here. Hermit crabs, wolf spiders, nothing stands a chance here. We now have so many ants, and they're so big and strong, we can take out even these bigger hermit crabs with very little effort. And as we have the tiger beetles coming in and replacing the hermit crabs, this of course means that it is the next day, which means we are about to win this mission. There we go, another big hermit crab dead, and voila.
As the ants grow in number, the local predators pose less and less of a danger. Eventually they will be displaced from this area entirely. Despite the dangers of the beach, it seems this intrepid queen's gamble to establish her colony here has ultimately secured her success.
Indeed, and the fact that we also are a pioneer species also means that we just very easily are able to establish in areas that are disturbed. And well, I forgot to mention that the tidal area here is in fact a disturbed environment, because every day the tides will come in and roll back and come in and roll back. So this is a very, very disturbed environment, and our little ants here are great at making use of this environment. But yeah, that is where we are going to end today's episode, everybody. So thank you very much for joining me on our little adventure here. Next time, our Formica Ereptor ants will take in some of the genes of the Formica rufas as well, and we will finally have some ranged ants to spray formic acid down upon our enemies. So if you've got any questions or comments, please pop it down in the comments below. And until next time, everybody, stay safe. I'll see you all soon. Cheers!